Hello, Kathryn Anderson here. I'm going to make another channel also, and I'll tell you about that at the end. I did go to heaven 9 years ago. I had a glimpse. I was healed. I was shown things that came back knowing I wanted to just write children's stories and let everyone know how much they are truly loved and valuable they are. But you know how life be lifing and things get crazy, and so part of the reason that I'm now, choosing to do Al-Anon is, as I had mentioned, this world seems to be always pointing at someone else and not looking within, and I don't want to be part of that anymore. So I'm trying, and this can help hold me accountable. So this, it's hot, don't mind me. This is what I've learned today. Okay, I love this one. Okay, and a lot of this is, with 2 divorces now. I gotta look at me. I realize at this point in my life, you can't fix anyone else. You gotta love yourself and work on yourself. And that has been freedom. And instead of, they were this, they were that, yada, yada. And that's a lot why I'm taking this journey. And I learned something really cool. And I don't know that I have this, but I knew my former spouse did, and I just don't like it. And I think it's helpful. Guilt is, I made a mistake. We all make mistakes. Shame is where you think, I am the mistake. And through Al-Anon, if people have that, they can begin to know the difference, which I think is huge. So let me read you a little bit about what today was. They said this is our safe place, a place we can heal, nurture, grow, and learn to live. And the 12 steps is a program that I think every single person on the planet should do, because, Adam and Eve were the first to start it. And I know they're spiritual, not religious, but it's just the truth. Adam and Eve started, and I see how alcoholism causes coping behaviors, and they cause other behaviors. So it's time, and wait till you see where it goes. Okay, and this is from me. As an adult, children, we share some common characteristics that came from ways of coping with a dysfunctional environment, someone with alcoholism in the home. Although they can affect us differently, and they do create problems for us, but we all have compassion for each other. We are here to heal, not to blame, to accept, not to condemn, and forgive, let go, and become whole. As we participate in the group and work the 12 steps, we heal our spirits, our minds, and our bodies. We do this by discovering the healing ability of they call it higher power, divine spirit, because they don't want people to be turned away. I call it God, okay? I know, I'm in love with the Lord, but they don't, so don't conflate me with them, because they are, I want everyone to be open to go. It's a big live and let live, and this is the cool thing. To protect ourselves, we became people pleasers, like first I thought I was my father's savior. We are no one's savior. Each person needs to be independent and not codependent, like probably I was with Daddy, and stand up for themselves. So Jesus is our savior. They don't say this in here. This is my channel. So I'm telling you what's helping me, but I'm also telling you who I am. We're no one's savior. That's up to God. So we became people pleasers, even though we lost our identity in the process. I can say that was true. Personal criticism is perceived as a threat, That's probably true too. Okay. We can become workaholics to fulfill that sick need for abandonment. I did that before I had my kids. I had to succeed, and I made it up to regional VP, which I'm not saying it to brag because it meant nothing. And I left. I'd been just a sub teacher and a mom for 20 years, but I could see that. We had an overdeveloped sense of responsibility and prefer to be concerned with others rather than ourselves. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can see that. We somehow get guilt feelings if we stand up for ourselves rather than giving in to others. Let me say that again. We somehow get guilt feelings if we stand up for ourselves rather than giving in to others. We are dependent personalities who are terrified of abandonment. That's the codependency part that comes alongside. And it doesn't even have to be like it was my mama and I love her dearly. But it can be a grandparent, it can be a great-grandparent, because it causes all these coping behaviors. So that's why I say 99% should go through this. And I see that the programs, less and less people are coming. They used to be packed, and that confuses me today because I see more and more offense and just division and all sorts of things. And I think that if everyone chose this, we would all heal ourselves and then the world could heal. So we are dependent personalities who are terrified of abandonment, who would do almost anything to hold on to a relationship in order not to be abandoned emotionally. Yet we keep choosing insecure relationships that match our childhood relationship with dysfunctional parents. Now again, there's no blame. You'll see that on the parents because you'll get that. But I can see that. I chose people, like my mom. And I do love her dearly. Thus, codependency can be seen as a family disease. We learn to stuff our feelings in childhood and keep them buried as adults through that conditioning. In consequence, we confuse love and pity and tend to love those we can rescue. Me, big fixer, rescuer in the past. And even more self-defeating, we become addicted to the excitement in all our affairs, preferring constant upsets to workable relationships. This is a description, not an indictment. And I can see that. That's why, I had really healthy relationships back then, and I was bored. Never again. I see that now, but I can look back and forgive my, self and forgive my parents and everyone, to be honest. By attending meetings on a regular basis, you will come to see parental dysfunction for what it is, a disease that infected you as a child and continues to affect you as an adult. When you accept the disease concept, you will see your parents and yourself as co-victims. Not you're the victim and they're the abuser. You're all co-victims here. This is like, tell you what Jesus was trying to say, before you plunk the whatever out of the other guy's eye, you got to pull the plank out of yours, So we're all co-victims. You will learn to keep the focus on yourself in the here and now and free yourself from blame that happens in the past. You will not do this alone. You look around when you're in and see other men and women who know exactly how you feel. And these are all people willing to work on themselves instead of blame others, which is kind of amazing. Our actual parent, they call it a higher power. I know it's my Lord, my God. He gave us life. God gave us life. And if God, we have dysfunctional parents, God also gave us these 12 steps and the ability to look within to recover. This is a spiritual program based on action coming from love. That's what I'm all about. We're sure that as the love grows inside you, you'll see beautiful changes in all the relationships, especially with your parents, kids, your God, and yourself. What a great reason to do this. But there was something they said that I really wanted to stress again. Where was it? Well, let me read it here, which is really important. Solution, you become your own parent. You will then see both your parents and yourself as co-victims. There's no one to blame. And then you will take responsibility then for your own life and be your own parent. Keep the focus on yourself. Speak for yourself. How great is that? That's some of the things I learned today. I want to see if there's anything else, because it's just so amazing. Oh, here it is. Live and let live. Misplaced anger is also something, and it can come in the form of criticism of yourself or others. But it was actually that you didn't go and talk this out and get healed, and you could still be mad or have resentment in there. And that comes out like that. And that's another reason why it's good to do this and change for yourself, because we don't want to do that to anyone else. We release our parents from responsibility for our actions today, and thus become free to make healthy decisions as actors and not reactors. Because remember, they're just co-victims too. Studying the steps is essential to progress in the program. I mean, you can go and not get anything, but you can really look and research and do the work and get so much out of it. In Al-Anon, they strive for an ever deeper understanding of the steps, and they pray for the wisdom to apply them to their lives, as do I. So this is some of the cool. By attending meetings on a regular basis, this is what they say, you will come to see parental dysfunction. Oh, I said that. Hold on, there's good stuff. I don't want to keep blaming the parents. We're all doing the best we can. The things, okay, a couple things here. The promises. You're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. This is by focusing on you and your stuff. You will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. You will comprehend the words serenity and know peace. No matter how far down the scale you may have gone, you will see how our experiences can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness or self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. And that's so true, because that's the desire of my heart, to help and serve. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. These are big promises. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. See, we really become God when we try to do all this and take this on. Are these extravagant promises? They think not. They are fulfilled among them, the people in Al-Anon, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but they will always materialize if you work the program. I think that's pretty incredible. And this is the Bill of Rights, okay? I have a right to all those good times that I have longed for all these years and didn't get. I have a right to joy in this life, right here, right now. Not just a momentary rush of euphoria, but something more substantive. I have a right to relax and have fun in non-addictive, non-destructive ways. Again, I said I never drank or did drugs, but I could see how I leaned toward excitement and, because I was used to being the savior or drama. And didn't choose nice, great people because I was bored. So there goes the excitement, addicted to excitement. let's see. I have the right to say no whenever I feel something is not safe or I'm not ready. I have a right to not participate in either the active or passive crazy-making behavior of parents, siblings, children, or others, friends. I have a right to take calculated risks and to experiment with new strategies. I have a right to change my tune, my strategy, and my funny equations. I have a right to mess up and make mistakes, to blow it, to disappoint myself, and to fall short of the mark, which we all do. That's why we have, well, this is not part of Al-Anon, but that's why I have Jesus. I have the right to leave the company of people who deliberately or inadvertently put me down, lay a guilt trip on me, manipulate me. I have the right to put an end to conversations with people who make me feel put down or humiliated. I have the right to my feelings. I have the right to trust my judgment, my hunches, and my intuitions. I have the right to develop myself as a whole person emotionally, spiritually, physically, and psychologically. They say that so many people, there's so much division these days because people put these huge boundaries up because they don't know that there's help and that you can do the work and get to feel safe. And then you're safe around anyone because you know how to handle it, and you know you can take situations back to the group, and just to be heard and witnessed is so healing, and to put into practice the principles. Today it was, it's let it begin with me, and I think that's pretty cool. So I'm sharing this with you all because I'm excited to do the work. I'm excited to heal, grow, and thrive. Happiness and joy are a choice. I choose to be joyful in the Lord no matter what. And like I said, I've lost mom, dad, brother, son, other son left, divorce. But you can choose joy. And the truthfully joy, like when you really get down to it, it comes from serving and helping others. But I'm doing this for my relationships. I have many great friends, but to know how to handle family relationships and do it well with love, peace, to not let myself get, whacked out by someone else's behavior or what they've done. And it makes you more and more at peace. And I really pray that for everyone, because I totally feel that if we all did this and worked on ourselves in the personal inventory, the love, there's safety in it, and you won't need to, block people who could love you or friendships that could love you, because you know that you're safe to say no, or I'm not comfortable. And I think we all fear the rejection. I know that's part of this, but I think we all have that. And I really feel that if all of us do this, I'd love to see these places full again. But if all of us do this and do this inventory and really work on us, this ripple effect would heal the world. There wouldn't be these wars. These wars are just a magnification of what's going on with individuals. I see everyone's so offended or so isolated and, going into their shells. And I get it. I do. But this is a way to heal ourselves and be present and see the love that's really there around us, that's always been there. And my goal with this is, and being on my own, is to stop the criticism of myself or anyone else, because as a perfectionist, trust me, you are hard on yourself. And then others. I don't want to do that. I want to give everyone the space to love and make their mistakes and learn from them. I don't want to rescue them anymore out of it, because then they don't learn. It's like a butterfly. We had them with my son. Josh was little. We got a bunch of caterpillars that made the chrysalis, and I opened one up, and the caterpillar died and the rest worked their way out and made it. And I think we need that. That's why we're here. You don't grow by enjoyable times. You grow by suffering and trials. And we're here to grow. We're here to grow in love. And I think this is a phenomenal way to do it. So I hope you join me on it. No judgment to anywhere or anyone. We're all just doing the best we can. But this is really pretty cool. And I hope you come along for the journey. Have a blessed day.